The young recruit's hand trembled so violently that even he could hear the metal of the pistol tapping against his knuckles. Across from him, standing in the dusty afternoon light, Captain Mira Hale didn't move an inch. Her heartbeat was steady, her breathing slow. Yet everything around her, the whispers, the panicked footsteps, the sudden stillness of the training yard seemed to tighten like a rope pulled too far. 5 seconds. That was all it took for the boy's fear to turn into something dangerous. And for Mira to realize that this standoff wasn't about a weapon, it was about a breaking point. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're rewatching from. I love knowing who is listening. The recruit's name was Aaron Briggs, 19, barely a man, but already carrying a lifetime of hurt behind his eyes. He had been pushed too hard that morning, jeered at, humiliated, targeted by older soldiers who thought fear was a good teacher. Mira had seen it unfold. She had stepped in once, twice, but the third time she had arrived too late, watching him walk away with shoulders slumped and fists clenched so tight his nails had cut his own skin. She thought he needed rest. What she didn't realize was that he needed rescue. Now, as the barrel pointed at her heart, Aaron's face twisted between despair and defiance. Soldiers circled, frozen, too afraid to move. The wind itself seemed to hesitate. Dust swirled in the beam of sunlight, cutting across the yard, catching in the air like suspended sparks. Mira saw all of it. She also saw the boy inside the man who wanted anyone to tell him he was in tea alone. "Aaron," she said softly, not stepping closer, not stepping back. "Look at your hands," I said. "Don't move." He barked, but his voice cracked mid-sentence. His fingers shook harder. Mira didn't raise her voice. She didn't command him as a superior. Instead, she let her humanity lead. "Your hands are hurting. They're shaking because you're scared. It's normal. But you don't want to hurt me. You don't want to hurt anyone." His lip quivered. "They pushed me until I snapped." She nodded, eyes warm, steady. "And snapping doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. But this," she gestured subtly at the gun, "is not the part of you that wants to be seen." A murmur ran through the watching crowd, like grass bending beneath a sudden breeze. Some soldiers lowered their rifles. Others exchanged tense glances. Time stretched thin. Mira felt her own conflict rising, the moral weight of it all. She was trained to disarm threats without hesitation, trained to act before a life was taken. But she also knew the wound in front of her wasn't meant to be punished. It was meant to be understood. And that made the choice heavier than any battlefield decision she'd ever made. "Aaron," she whispered, "your story isn't over because of one moment. Let me help you write the next one." For a heartbeat, he was still. Then another. His breath faltered. The defiance in his eyes shifted, sliding into something fragile, something young. She saw it happen, the exact instant the steel around him cracked. Then, 5 seconds later, the pistol dropped to the ground. It hit the dirt with a soft, anticlimactic thud. But the sound echoed like a gunshot through every heart watching. Aaron collapsed to his knees, hands covering his face, tears streaming through trembling fingers. "I'm sorry," he choked out. "I'm so sorry. I didn't mean I didn't know what to. Please don't let them take me away. Please." The yard changed in an instant. The tension dissolved into stunned silence. Then, as Mira walked forward and knelt beside him, the silence grew into something else, an awakening. Soldiers glanced at one another, ashamed, thoughtful, reflective. Mira rested a hand on Aaron's shoulder. "I'm not letting anyone take you away," she said quietly. "You're not a danger. You're a warning to all of us about the damage silence can do." His sobs softened. His breathing steadied under her calm presence. The moral dilemma lingered in the air, heavy and unspoken. Who was truly at fault? The boy who broke? Or the system that let him shatter? Mira stood and faced the watching soldiers. Her voice was firm but warm, like steel wrapped in velvet. "We are not here to break each other. We are here to build each other. If one of us falls, we lift him. If someone is drowning, we don't push him deeper." The crowd lowered their heads, guilt settling like dust at their feet. Later that evening, as the sun dipped behind the barracks and the sky turned the color of fading embers, Mira visited Aaron again. He sat on a bench outside the infirmary, hands wrapped in bandages, eyes clearer than before. "You didn't judge me," he said quietly. "Why?" She smiled, small and genuine. "Because I've broken before too. Someone helped me back then. Now it's my turn." A long silence lingered between them, comfortable, hopeful. "You can still be a soldier," she added. "A good one. This moment doesn't define you. What you choose next does." Aaron inhaled deeply, as though taking in a breath of a world he thought he'd lost. "Then I choose to stand back up," and he did. Weeks later, he became one of the most disciplined recruits on base, known for his empathy as much as his skill. Whenever a new soldier looked lost or overwhelmed, Aaron was the first to step in, patient, gentle, protective. Because some people learn strength from triumph. Others learn it from surviving themselves. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. And sometimes, it returns in the trembling hands of someone who finally learns how to let go. If this story moved you, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more powerful stories from Whispered Words, where every tale reminds us that courage comes in many forms. Your next story is waiting. Don't miss it.